Welcome to Moto 2, our final game in this month-long exploration of sequels to games I've played before. Or 2 months, to clear that mouthful out. So it's a sequel to a game I played fairly recently, obviously. They added additional difficulty levels. Novice is now easier than Amateur, and I'm still going to fail pretty badly at it. Master used to be the highest, but now we can go insane. And I imagine you would if you tried to beat that difficulty. I will not be doing that to myself. The big removal is that you can no longer choose the gender of who is going to give you trophies at the end, because there's now like a unique screen for when you win a trophy at the end. Not just a different presenter per map. So it's been changed dramatically. We will certainly see it. Although our character might not be winning very many races, unfortunately. At the very end of the last playthrough, I did discover that Turbo is a mechanic. Embarrassingly enough, Turbo is pretty important. But it does make the game that much more complicated and difficult. On to the characters. Ignoring Enigma for now. We've got Lil Dave. Most of the characters are new. And the sponsors, some of them are new, like Atlantic Technology and a jet ski. But the overall roster has been reduced dramatically. Axiom Design returns. This is actually the company that did the graphic design for the game. So like the title screen, all these character portraits that we're seeing, the entire art style is thanks to Axiom Design. I was briefly worried that OBS had crashed on me. Not yet. Maybe later. Though hopefully not. Mountain Dew, of course, returns as a sponsor. And I don't know what this brand is. Good luck discovering what that could even be. Only sponsors 2 drivers, and that's our entire roster. Thankfully, Bomber returns, my favorite character from the first game. And Enigma is a secret unlockable character that I use a cheat code to get. As I am, as noted, not good at this game. So yeah, Dana Hogan has made her bike even bigger. Now she can, of course, destroy the competition effortlessly like she could in the first game, but now more so. That is not true. Tragically, Bomber has been nerfed, and it wasn't all that great to begin with. I tried to turn this into a car combat game using Bomber, who could knock other drivers off of their bikes. Not really a viable mechanic anymore. But the lift stat has been removed, so every bike gets equivalent airtime to all the others. Really comes down to speed that determines how high you're going to spend in the air. And you don't want to spend a lot of time in the air. You lose speed while you're in the air. Now let's check out an entire season of new tracks. Like Slick Rock Gorge. Avoid running into sheer cliffs and watch for whitewater. Always good advice. Don't run into a sheer cliff. Just like a fun-filled day exploring one of our national parks. Fair enough. So right off the bat, I'm gonna use Turbo. Give myself a slight boost and then accidentally hit the brake, because I'm used to playing Twisted Metal, where square is the accelerator. In this game, square is the brake. X is the accelerator, and I should probably reassign that. Too late now. Right there, I crashed pretty cleanly into somebody, and they did not dismount. I'm probably never going to knock anyone off a bike, simply by running into them. In fact, in the suicide courses where you are expected to drive head-on towards your competition, they're likely to knock me off my bike. Which makes no sense. What does the weight stat even do anymore? Nothing I was able to figure out. The mechanics have all been changed quite a bit here in Jet Moto 2. Also the voice clips, they no longer just reuse Twisted Metal voice clips. And when we inevitably fall off a cliff 1,000 times, we'll get to hear a unique female scream. Probably unique male screams as well. So yeah, Turbo basically, it compensates for our terrible acceleration as Bomber by immediately boosting you to top speed, which rules. We have a limited amount of turbo, as indicated by the yellow bar beneath our speedometer, and that limited amount of turbo regenerates between laps. So I used almost all that I had for the first lap, and I got it back. I drove into a wall. Got too much lift, so I lost a lot of speed. We're back at it, and there's the finish line. No, that is not the finish line. We're very close to the finish line. I wasted my turbo early. There, we still don't go. Severely underestimated how long this course is. There, a first place. Let's see what a first place looks like in this game. First, rundown of stats, point assignment, and then, yeah, we get carried off on the shoulders of a huge crowd through Slick Rock Gorge. So, yeah. Trophy presenters of all genders. Hooray. Onward. So that was a very easy course. We're still in the blue dot courses. We're going to move up to green squares soon. And finally, black diamonds. Suicide tracks can be easy. This is the easiest. Don't be lulled into a false sense of security, though. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in a lava flow you can't get out of. Our vehicles are not susceptible to lava, but there will be some for visual flair. Probably don't want to hit the ramp here. There's our lava. It accomplishes nothing. You might occasionally spot Chef Boyardee advertisements, as they do line the course. They did not get the honor of sponsoring any drivers. According to Wikipedia, it was the game's producer, Brian Wicklum, who insisted that Chef Boyardee not be permitted to sponsor any drivers in this game, despite the fact that they paid for a sponsorship. That went as far as billboards in the game. The one person in front of me, and go means our second lap has begun and my turbo has been refilled. So this is a very, very simple course, comparable to a lot of the suicide courses in the first game. This is probably the simplest course in the entire game by a very wide margin. Because overall, this game is significantly more complex than the original. Defeated me as a player. I really gotta stop hitting these ramps. I'm still in first. Well, no longer, but very close. I can get it back. Not that it'll matter all that much. None of this matters. It's not like they'll kick us out of the full season for placing too low. So I'll gladly take second place. Hopefully whoever got first had not previously gotten a lot of high scores. Yeah. It's 7 points separating us. Missed by just under a second. So there has been a major earthquake. Half the West Coast is now underwater, and you're expected to race through it. Masochists rejoice. Yeesh. So, this game does imply some kind of horrible apocalypse that we've survived and decided to turn into a race course. Released the same day as Twisted Metal 3, according to history. For some reason, these developers really liked putting out games on Halloween. So this game came out actually not the same day as Twisted Metal 3. Twisted Metal 3 was Halloween 1998. This was Halloween 97 in America. Came out in, well, later in the year, in 1998. In Europe, where it was called Jet Rider 2, because the first game was called Jet Rider. And in Japan, it was called Jet Moto 98. Even though in the US, it's been out in 97. And I know the original got a PC port. I don't know if this one got one as well. Not only am I playing the PlayStation version, though, I'm specifically playing the non-greatest hits PlayStation version. So, Brian Wicklund, the aforementioned, he requested during the game's production that he be given a version of the game that had only 4 other racers at a time. So instead of being able to drop to 10th place, you could only drop as low as 5th. And that would be last place. And that was to keep the frame rate at a solid 30. Whereas this frame rate here is probably about 20. And also, it unlocked every single Jet Moto 1 course for playability. You just play the entire first game in the second game right off the bat. You can still do that in this version that I'm playing right now, but you have to unlock them, which I have not done. Not even with cheat codes. And I could use cheat codes, but I'm not going to bother, because I showed those courses off once before. Hey, I beat Novice Mode by like 11 seconds. Take that, everyone else. Doing good, but that's the end of our green dot courses. Now for everyone else to start stomping me in actually difficult courses. Like the Titanic, you'll be asked to navigate icy Arctic waters. Unlike the Titanic, striking a hidden iceberg is just the beginning of your problems. What? I'm pretty sure the Titanic was going just fine until it hit that hidden iceberg. That was, similar to ourselves, the beginning of our problems. Whatever. So, the version that had just the 4 opponents and all the Jet Moto 1 courses unlocked was dubbed the Championship Edition. And like the title screen was changed slightly to indicate as much. And then, according to Wikipedia, Brian Wicklund wanted that version to be the greatest hits. Sony said we can't do that. The greatest hits has to be the same version as was released the first time around. So Brian said, fine, I'll send you over a new master disc because you inexplicably destroyed yours. Again, according to Wikipedia, that's exactly what happened. They destroyed the master disc, then asked Brian to send him a new one. He did. And it was properly labeled and everything. And then Sony mixed up the discs with the Championship Edition and released that as the greatest hits release. This is a very weird story. I don't know how true any of it is. But apparently the Championship Edition became the most widely available version by sheer accident. This is way easier than I'm making it. There we go. Really gotta focus on these courses because they're much, much harder than the ones from the original. I was told this game was made slightly easier to memorize and less reliant on memorization than the first game. I consider that to very much not be the case. Touching track boundaries does seem to slow you to a crawl, so I gotta avoid doing that. That guy went for a flip. I do believe my heavy vehicle would just bail if I tried to do a flip. I bailed enough. So you gotta keep your speed here, or else you won't make the jumps. If you have too much speed, you won't be able to make the turns required to not hurl yourself into the abyss. Like this one, that always gets me. It's fine, I'm back with the pack. Supposedly controls were improved in this version. I consider them to merely have been changed. Because, like, your basic left and right turns, they will be surprisingly sharp. Sharper than they were in the first game. While your L1, R1 turns, which used to be the sharp turns, are less extreme than they were in the first game. That's a weird result. Also, they will turn you on your axis, the way that the shoulder turns are meant to do, if you're in the air. And sometimes you don't want that. And shoulder turns do still turn you on your axis. So on the level of Hotshot, here you're a salmon. You have to swim upstream, avoid sharp rocks, and natural predators. All for a chance at a little pleasure. Otherwise, it's severe pain. I don't think there will be many predators here. But whoever wrote these level intros had a lot of fun. Good for them. I used the brake a lot more in this game than I did in the first one. Uh-oh. Good thing I bailed. Because turning yourself around here is difficult. It did respawn me out of bounds. Which is cool. But yeah, if you do end up facing the wrong way, you take a turn a little too sharply. Get curved in the wrong direction. Turning around is not fun. So the first game probably had actual AI design by the developers. This one did not. Instead, everything we're racing against is ghosts recorded by the developers. And on the highest difficulty, they're virtually impossible to beat. I ain't doing it anytime soon. I always find that turn to be unfair because the tether pole is not visible from any angle while you're racing. So the logical thing to do there would be to slow down. Otherwise, you're going off that cliff. But the fast thing to do is to know that there's a tether pole there and use it. I'm hitting absolutely everything. And just like in the first game, I think our weight works against us when we collide with environmental objects, i.e. we recover more slowly. Certainly because our vehicle's acceleration is atrocious. One of the lowest in the game. So having a high weight no longer seems to be of any value whatsoever, since you really can't knock people off their bikes. I mean, you can, and I've done it before, but it's way, way less likely. My favorite part of the first game. Oh, even with the tether, off I go. That guy didn't make it, though. Okay. Got a phantom bike in front of me for a while there. Seventh place. Atrocious. That level wasn't even that hard. They're gonna get way, way harder. I've performed significantly better on that particular level than what I just did. But hey, 69 points. Still in first place. Could have been us wasting that wine, but someone got to do it. Now we're getting the shaft. Need we say more? Okay, probably. Look out for fallen support beams, stalactites, and stalagmites. Ah, this level. So the first half of this level is fine. Pretty standard stuff. That cylinder, obviously, is the titular shaft. And apart from some weird collision, it doesn't really pose much of a threat. The slightest mistake can make you bail on that, but the latter half of this level is where things get real memorable, as it's bottomless pits everywhere. This part just has weird reflective water that appears to be an abyss you would not be able to drive through. To drive through it, you must. So here, choose wisely and quickly which bridge you want to go down. They're both perfectly straight, so no actual functional difference. Here we go. Please let me fall, so that I can at least stay close to first place. Bumping enemies here is very dangerous. Changes your momentum, such that you might just fall and die. I didn't get to do the tether spin around thing, because this is a suicide course. Almost saved it. Just the precision required for this curve here. This heavily banked curve. I have not mastered it. I'm kind of impressed with the way this game was designed. How difficult it's clearly meant to be. How I'm not getting it. Ugh. This is supposed to just be hold X. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm gonna bounce properly. But yeah, this is a game that is not meant to be mastered in just a few short playthroughs. So you really get your money's worth. If you were to buy this game back when it first came out, you would probably spend a lot of time with it before you got anywhere. Like even beating Novice take a lot of practice. Yep. Yeah, rolled my bike over on top of myself. Don't want to do that. Because I was out of grapple juice. So, like, when I bought a Wii U, I got a free copy of Mario Kart 8 with it. I was pretty much first placing all the courses on my first attempt. I just couldn't help but wonder, what's the point of this? I really did not enjoy Mario Kart 8 when I played it. It was visually impressive, but just dirt simple. Whereas this game, ludicrously complex, definitely keep you busy for much longer than Mario Kart 8 kept me busy. Oh, I slowed down almost enough to not drive over the edge there. Fortunately, a lot of the times when you fall into a bottomless pit, it does not send you all the way back to the last checkpoint. Why am I getting too much speed here? I swear in practice this was just a matter of holding X, and I would bounce properly every single time. So I lost another place, and yeah. What I wanted to do was go under that girder. At least I kept my 4th place. But yeah, miserable performance. We saved a few minutes on that one. I'm finally out of 1st. I'll probably be out of 2nd soon enough. But yeah, unlike most racing games, I can absolutely see why this one would hold a person's attention for a very, very long time. This crazy circus course will have you hanging on for dear life. Don't let your finger stray too far from the grapple button. So the grapple points are in the middle of the course. Very important to note where the grapple points are because we will not be able to see them while we are driving. Because this is a roller coaster. And the grapple points are below us here. Like that. Allowing us to stick to the track. Crash right into the checkpoint sign. But this allows you to go ridiculously fast without getting punished. Then we got this thing. Checkpoint at the top of a quarter pipe. And if you go at full speed, you'll get a ton of air there. Spend a ton of time in the air. And waste a lot of time. Ran out of grapple, but didn't kill me. This is going to kill me, though. I'm going to land on top of this big top. I didn't. I went through the big top. So the big top counts as falling out of the track if you land on top of it. Fortunately, I didn't. This corkscrew. Sorry if anyone has motion sickness. We'll be going through that corkscrew a lot.
Look out! Look out!
Out of my way. Driverless bikes are like impassable objects. Gotta hit that corkscrew at a fairly precise angle. Or even if you have enough speed, it just will not hold you. And you will fall and die. Bonked my head on the checkpoint sign, but did not take me out. As noted, we do not want to touch the rails. I hit that with way too much speed. Fortunately, there are nets to catch you. Sounded like Bomber liked it. There's a big red button in the sky. I wonder if you can hit that red button and win a prize. Oh, decapitated again. I gotta wonder, since Axiom Design did all the graphics for this game, and they're so similar to the art style for Twisted Metal 2, did they do the comic book art style in that game as well? And I just never realized it. I don't think that's the case. I've never heard that being the case. But this game did reuse a lot of the same staff as Twisted Metal, specifically too. I've done way better on this track as well. And we're just about to get into the tracks that I have always gotten in like last place or close to it on. For some reason, the Hun, who's been in first every time, came in lower than us. So our positions did not move. But Steel might have gotten closer to us. Oh, the guy above her shoulder there, or her elbow, had eyeballs on springs for some reason. It's a terrible mutant who did not survive the apocalypse quite as well as we did. So on to Kamate, a mystical track from New Zealand that sends you over suspension bridges, across cliffs, and into head-on collisions with tiki masks. Fun. There aren't any tiki masks on the track. I guess there's one spot where the debris could be considered a tiki track, or tiki mask. Like, that one was slightly out of bounds, so I couldn't have hit it if I tried. The first jump I would have fallen and died, but I bounced off another driver. And I'm in last place anyway. And that option is just a brick wall. I should not take that path. There's the rickety wooden bridge that I find it very hard to stay on top of. And this thing. This is where keeping yourself upright is very important. Because if you land with your character oriented, such that they do not line, like, they're not facing the same direction as the terrain that they're landing on, you just get kind of jerked really hard in that direction. Turn, please. Thank you. But yeah, with such narrow platforms over instant death bits, you do not want to be wrenched in an unexpected direction suddenly. That is a recipe for disaster. Saw some other people take the brick wall path. I avoided it this time. And I survived the bridge. And I saved this? Not quite. So I, as someone who is not very good at this game, still make it a point to use the R2, L2 triggers to right my position as I'm going over those slanted platforms. That's not the last we're going to see of those slanted platforms. Which way is forward? That's one of the big problems if you do get turned around. The tracks make no sense. They're so complicated. So righting yourself, nigh impossible. Bunch of screen shake. 4th place. Barely edged out that other person. Then dove into a pit. My prize is death. Yep. 0.1 second ahead of the max. Somehow still in front of Steel, but that won't last very long. And then 4th place is miles behind us. Probably will never catch up. But I don't see myself staying in 3rd for much longer. Ah, Mach Schnell. This track has the stairway in the sky there. That is a nightmare. Oh, and which part is it? The full pipe tunnel. We're going to see the full pipe tunnel. I don't know how to get past the full pipe tunnel. So, wish me luck. That one's going to go poorly. Like a good mogul run, you'll have to choose your path wisely. For the path of least resistance is not the most readily apparent. What? Nice thing about this game, every single track has its own unique music. First game reused a lot of music and had stolen a lot of that music from Twisted Metal 2. So clearly much more love and budget went into this game. I missed the ramps. Always forget about these ramps. They're required to get in that spot. And then the pits. I survived the pits. Barely. Still not at the stairway in the sky. Nor the pipe. Coming up on the pipe, though. Here it is. So we're going to see the other drivers bail a lot on the pipe. Because they don't know what to do here either. There's no in-game indication of how we're supposed to get past the pipe. Yep. You go too fast up that wall, you bail. You don't get through the pipe. This might count. Nope. I clotheslined at the wrong spot. Oh, the pipe. Well, I'm out of turbo. Oh, why does that bail you? So pipes have weird physics on them. Oh, beautiful. This is definitely going to count as progress. Onto the stairway. It's going to be similar torturous. But yeah, pipes have weird physics. And just touching the edges of the pipe often counts as clotheslining yourself legally, even when it shouldn't. The AI handled it abnormally well, which, as noted, it's not AI, so I don't know how it performed differently than it had in previous playthroughs. Maybe it just seems that way. I gotta take the stairs very, very slowly, because you can't see over a lot of them. Tell where the platform on the other side is even going to be. Slow down a little bit here. Yeah, the real race of this game is racing against me running out of things to say about this game. I still feel it's interesting to look at. And I remembered the ramps, but I did not hit them. This thing. You gotta start turning way in advance in order to avoid the open pit. not rotate myself. Oh, the thing again. So here's the rest of my life. That's not gonna do it. If I start going up the side of the ramp, which seems to be what you're supposed to do, you just do a full loop. So it's clearly not the solution. There's clearly what I'm supposed to do. That was my first time getting through there, and I could have actually landed it if I had expected it and fixed my position more quickly. So the shape of the stairway indicates where you need to go next. Sort of. The bright side, I think this is the second to last track. There's the one that always gets me. A very high step, severely misaligned with a step just past it. There. Over the checkpoint and into the pit. Just how I wanted it. This is one of my worst ever performances of Von Schnell. Of course. But the next level, if it's what I'm thinking it is, it's gotta be way worse. Much, much, much worse. I believe the reduction in the overall number of racers also makes the Championship Edition a little easier. It at least is intended for non-hardcore players. Yeah, standings after 9 of 10 tracks. Almost impossible for Vampiro or anyone else to overtake me. But I basically cannot win. And I did not expect to win. We're gonna make it through. The next track is Nebulous. This is the kind of course where you'd love to have Dante along for the ride. Travel through heaven, but be prepared for a little taste of hell. Literally. That is all very literal. This one actually makes a lot of sense. So, massive warning for flashing lights. This level is irresponsibly visually designed. Not at first, though. I'll warn you as best I can. When we start off in heaven, heaven has an obnoxious gimmick music track, and then we're gonna go to hell. Hell is where things get very, very flashy. It's like hard for me to even see. It makes the course way harder than it needs to be. In addition to being very dangerous. And it's coming up real soon. Next checkpoint. Yep, we're going to hell. Watch out. So this is hell, where it's constantly thunder. And the thunder flashes the screen wildly. It makes it nigh impossible to see the course. There's a bunch of loop-de-loops you gotta do. But at least the music is good. I gotta land this. And hit that checkpoint, and we're all set. Now I can fall and die freely. Saved it, miraculously. Despite the fact that these bikes do not touch the ground, they have a lot of traction. So now we're in heaven. The game will not try to blind us for a little while. We are going back to hell, and there will be another lap. So multiple returns to hell. That's the way I know how to get through this track. is simply to go so slow that it doesn't hurl you into the sky. Here comes hell. Lightning to excess. I mean, who thought all this lightning was a good idea? This is horrible. It made it so difficult to learn this level, and the course layout is much harder than any level in this game or the previous game, so that's really saying something. Like, I can't see the course at all right now. And here's the hardest part. We go in a vertical upward corkscrew. And I need to keep myself in a very precise position. If I ever touch the edges, I'm pretty much dead. Got through it in one. And then failed on the way out, but... Lap 2, let's do it all again. Quite a ways away from the pack, but... keep it in 9th place. I think I see 8th place there. Like, there really is no pack in this level. Enemies are clustered all over the place. Instead of one 3-minute track, this level has 2 1.5-minute tracks. And I assume they're supposed to align such that you complete one at the exact moment that you're transitioning to hell, like right now. Yeah, if you did everything efficiently and never crashed, you might, hypothetically, have continuous music that never loops. It just flows into each track organically. That's all about being good at this game, unlike myself. Finally going to heaven, which has a full screen blinding effect, just fade to white, which I recently learned is bad for people who suffer from migraines. But it also blinds you. So I am never going to know what I'm supposed to do in transitioning from heaven to hell and vice versa. But anyway, to hell with us. One last time. Watch out. Oh, I might? There we go. I didn't hit the checkpoint as I was passing through. So I went back to heaven, and now I'm at the hell, where I shall stay. Can't believe I caught that corner. Oh, we're in it. With a vertical spiral. And then we'll be done. Nope. If you bail anywhere on the vertical spiral, it typically sends you back to the bottom. This time it didn't. It's all about angling yourself just right so you stay very close to the center, so you don't lose control like that. This took me many, many, many tries to get the first time. I'm surprised by how many tries it's taking now. It's clearly I had it at a point where I was able to do it somewhat consistently. Yeah, you gotta stay close to the center of each segment of track. Using just the lightest taps of left and right. That did it. That hit the checkpoint. We're never going back to hell. Ever again. Because the game is over. 6 minutes. Gruesome. There's also no grapple points on that level, as far as I can tell. If there are any, they're well hidden. Still be Vampira. Everyone else, except for the 2 people who are way better than me. On novice difficulty. Look at them. celebrating blade. Demons and angels coming together to anoint this random driver. So yeah, that was brutal. That's real quick. Trying to switch back. Yeah, I'll do quit. So I want to show off Enigma for one track. Enigma stats are basically the opposite of Bombers, but slightly better overall, a better average. And visually, it's pretty cool looking. So let's check out Enigma real quick. Just out of curiosity, we'll also read a bit of Enigma's bio. Images seared into the souls of every racer, ones that wake them up in the middle of the night, bathed in a pool of their own sweat. Yeah, I guess Enigma is a manifestation of fear. Fear of racing. And dealing with the courses that exist in this world. I don't know what the sponsorship is supposed to be. But let's send Enigma off in style to a nice easy level. I feel like I handled Meltdown relatively well. So here's Enigma. Right now it looks like an Ewok. Ridiculously fast vehicle. And it's transparent. Which is pretty cool. The whole thing just completely see-through. It's clearly meant to be way more powerful. It's this game's minion. Fun to play as, but it's super hard to control. So I would not exactly dominate a playthrough with Enigma. That playthrough we just saw would have been significantly more disastrous if I had selected this character instead of Bomber, whose behaviors I am relatively used to. Yeah, we're wrapping up here, mercifully. Fascinating game series. I kind of wish I was good enough to actually show them off, but that is quite a skill that is quite unlike anything available to me at this time. It's unfortunately just sort of a useless skill at this point, because it doesn't even translate over to other racing games. Being good at Jet Moto. It's such a specific thing. Less than 2 minutes to beat that level. Cool level design, but brutal stuff. Let's see Enigma celebrated by the people. Enigma does use the female voice clips when injured or falling off of cliffs and stuff, so whatever that means. Enigma doesn't make a lot of sense as a character, but it looks cool. And that is Jet Moto 2. Who made it? Plenty of good people. By this point, Single Track had pretty much cut all ties with Sony. I believe the Greatest Hits release was actually credited to 989 Studios, who clearly did not make it. They did make Jet Moto 3, which is a huge departure. The first two relatively similar, the third game very, very different. A much more standard racing game. A lot of the ridiculous idiosyncrasies that make Jet Moto, they're gone. Because I do applaud the uniqueness of the series and, like, the difficulty and expertise of the level design. Mastering this would definitely have been a good time back in the day. But right now, I've experienced all the Jet Moto I need. Thank you for joining me for these explorations of sequels. Have yourselves a good one.